I first checked it out.
Yeah, it should be in your mom.
Well, I'm talking about, it's direct deposit, right?
Yeah, they usually do it stuff. Yeah, if you did direct deposit, then actually it was there yesterday.
I thought I hit that raise at work.
No. You know, that's an issue. I had the whole thing. I didn't wear my hat. I got it's not a red one, but I have a chemical.
I figured just check my voice a while ago. I've been busy all morning. And I didn't recognize your number. I didn't know it was you, so I didn't.
Okay.
I apologize.
It was the same as.
Yeah, but I just didn't.
Yeah, because I got the city phone too.
But I did see your,
Yeah.
but I saw your email, Cam, and I said,
Everybody phone on me.
Only you and Kelly are.
very nice sleep you going.
Minutes? Right. So that, so you guys know since you're gonna be doing your presentation. And then this is the dean and all the letters. Pretty useless. How we think all the children.
I don't have an hour going.
Yeah.
Mark,
You gotta earn your way. 2 weeks old.
When you get a meeting, I know, one person's applied
Stephen is not.
for the,
Who else was this?
Tommy.
Tommy.
for one of the,
Stephen.
And we just
Right.
about an hour, about one.
Bob, how you doing?
Doing good, Ron.
yeah, but
Hey,
I
how
don't
you doing?
see any
Great.
on.
Good to see you. Likewise. Have a good time last night?
Public Park
did.
Report.
I think that's what Sarah just is like.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought she was saying something else about that.
Do we have,
I got three, but it's on, see, I got.
It's great.
should
I
be
wouldn't
one
use the
there,
whole
and I
pass
don't-
for that.
We would call it a hammer and turn around.
yeah, good. I mean, it just came in.
Yeah, she told me.
The way they.
A fire truck could be.
Chief, let him back.
She didn't talk to me like that.
I've got an extra folder. I've got an extra folder for him.
So they'll lose it.
I can bring it.
Not anymore anyway, right?
Apparently they didn't get that. And there's really no.
So in these little packets that I just handed out, Kelly, yours is just a little bit different. You guys have a memo from Daniel Dorson as well as these letters. But, this middle envelope has your passes to Super 7. There are 2 all access passes, 2 suite passes, a car hang tag for all of the games of the Super 7. You'll see them in there. So those suite passes are individual for each game. There's 2 individual suite passes for each of the games. If you need more suite passes, I got 20 total of everything, but 16 of those are handed out, so I got 4 more for each game if you need more.
And that parking is where, is it at the deck or is it at the old track?
I'm not sure where that parking.
I should know that answer. Hey, both of y'all come over there. I won't be up in the suite a lot. I'll be down in the field, but, it's a cool event and, there's probably a little food floating around for you, but, this is our 5th time doing it. And it's a big deal, you know, it'll be 60,000 people that'll come through here next week. It means a lot, and it's an awesome opportunity for us to give a child a great experience for the rest of their life. So having y'all there, I'd love to have y'all there and be able to cross paths with the Alabama High School Athletic Association people, which Coach Sav is planning to come to the council meeting Tuesday night. He'd just like to say thank you to the council, and I was gonna allow him to do that during the year's communications. He's the executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
Is there a time you'd like us to be there? I mean, first, you wanna try to get us all.
You know, the games are at, Wednesday just one game at night, and then, Thursday, Friday, the games are at 11, 3, and 7, and just whatever fits y'all's world. Y'all more welcome. Love to have y'all there.
And the suite number, I believe, is 4343. I think it's the suite number. So, I actually don't know where that is. I don't know if it's on one side or the other.
It's on the east side, it's the east side of the stadium, which side that faces the student center. That side of the suite.
All righty?
Thank you, Jim.
So, we have, at the first meeting of the month, we have the employee of the month, and we have some service recognitions. And we also have the, Kerry Cox is retiring, we'll have a presentation to him. And we have the Auburn High School girls cross-country team and coaches that will be there for recognition for the 2018 state championship. Under the consent agenda, we have a taxpayer penalty waiver. Most of you you new council members may not have seen something like this before. There is a memo from Penny Smith in your packet that will explain to you what this is. But basically, this company, Fox Sports Net Inc., does business with Auburn University, and they were bought out by a new entity, and they did an internal audit, and they found that they had underpaid their taxes. And so it was from their internal audit that we found out that they owed us more than they had paid us. Since this was their first time, the penalty part of that, you had the option to waive, and most of the times we waive them because they get a one-time every 3 years penalty option waive. They still have to pay all their taxes, and in this particular case, we wouldn't have even known had they not done the internal audit. But you'll see a memo in there from Penny about that. There's an alcoholic beverage license. So this is the old, on Opelika Road, what's it called? Duval, I guess. And so it's new ownership there. Under item 8D, so in the budget we approved the Parks and Rec and Culture Master Plan, the first phase of that, which would be a borrowing. And so in order to do a borrowing, you first have to authorize payback of those expenditures that we will be expending from the general fund to actually go out and do the borrowing. So you authorize that once we get the money from the borrowing, we will pay ourselves back for all of the expenses that we incur before we go out for the borrowing. So you'll see that under 8D, and that's what that $15 million borrowing, and that's for the public library improvements and public park and recreation facilities improvements, first phase.
Jim, can we be prepared just to remind the community what the first phase is, what projects fall into that first phase?
Yep.
Thank you.
In fact, you may want to pull it off consent agenda just so they have an opportunity to hear that.
You could,
Is that 15 and the 40?
that's 15 of the 40 million.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first phase of the 40 million expenditure.
Do we have a plan right now as to the expense of the other 25 million? How will the other 25 million be shaded? Do we know that at this point?
Probably as a one borrowing of 25 million, but we'd have to see it. It all depends on how we can phase it out. We don't want to borrow too much ahead of time. It causes a lot of problems because we can't make money on that borrowed money. So we try to borrow right as we're going to start spending. It is a renewal of our 3-year Microsoft contract. That's the first contract there. That's with Microsoft for all of the Microsoft products we use. We have 2 vehicles, both for water resource management. Both of these are expansion vehicles. The first one is, I believe, goes to water, and then the second one is actually going out to the sewer treatment plant. That's where that one will be used.
Jim, on that Microsoft contract, in our packet we'll get some broader explanation of how we're spending that money.
Yeah. Now, so this comes off the state contract. SHI International is the company that owns the state contract, or is the one who has the state contract with the state of Alabama. And we license Microsoft products over a broad range of areas. Majority of that probably is public safety because of all of the different terminals we have. every time we have a computer or a terminal, that's a license that we have to account for. And so every 3 years, we look at enterprise-wide, everything that we're using, and then we have to true up on that. So how many licenses of this we have, how many Word, how many Excel, how many PowerPoint, all of these different things. And basically, then we get a price, and then whatever that price is off the state contract. But yeah, there's a minimum.
So it's price per license, and we purchase that through a company that has a state contract.
Yeah, and it's very, pretty much set. I mean, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room to negotiate.
You'll see the licenses that are listed in the contract, so you'll see 800 licenses for Microsoft Word, Outlook, all of those different things.
What version of Windows are you using?
10, the latest version. And it's the other thing is, we, just to be secure, we want to be on the most recent, fully patched version of all of these things. And that's been our policy for 20 years, is basically, when a patch comes out, it's applied. You probably have seen emails just here in the last couple of weekends. We normally try to do the server patches on the weekends. Without this contract, we would be limited in some of that stuff that we could do, because they supply us with a lot of stuff for security over and above what we're licensing. So. And it does them, it's in their favor as well, like you can see. We just have one easement at Eagles Nest and Miller's Crossing. And it's the sidewalk lighting and temporary construction easement on that property. We have 3 board appointments, and so at the committee of the whole, we will also have the presentation from the task force on committees and boards. And then there are 3 appointments on committee of the whole. The Auburn Downtown Redevelopment Authority has 1 position, Green Space has 2 positions, and Public Park and Recreation has 1 position.
Jim, do you know how they're made up as far as incumbents?
Not, well, all of the incumbents are, I think, sitting here.
Okay. That's on the crew, we signed that here.
And so they can't, and I believe one of the incumbents on one of the other ones did not want to be reappointed. So I think we have 4 positions applied for the Green Space Advisory Board, 1 position for the,
It's the Downtown Redevelopment Authority.
Down Redevelopment Authority, and then we just got 1 position. Just before I came here, I saw an application come through, so you'll get that one, and I think that's for the public park.
Is that, you know the name of that one, that person?
Sarah Brown.
I'm pretty sure.
That's for the Auburn Downtown Redevelopment Authority.
Oh, I was talking about that.
We've got one on the public park, and that was, we talked about that one.
Kelly.
Yeah, that was, starts with an M. Well,
Got some that said he wanted your.
have you all seen that one?
Yeah, I'm not seeing the applications for that yet. The only ones that I only showed 3 for Green Space Advisory, but we can talk about that in our.
Yeah, the other 2 just came in.
Yeah.
So I know, and Sarah Brown's just came in before we came over here.
Okay.
Eccles.
I'm not sure what the name, but we'll look at that.
But they'll be in the packets that everybody receives this evening.
Yes.
Okay. So everybody will have to see those.
Under ordinances, these 2, A and B, are basically the different bond issuances, but the same idea. So we were able to look at 2 bonds, one that has a balance of $5 million plus, and one that has a balance of $9 million plus. And we can go out and borrow at a reduced interest rate. And so for each of those, we will be saving in the term, if you add the 2 together, over the term of the loan, we'll be saving about $500,000. So we do that periodically when we have issuances that are higher interest rate than what we can get at a refinancing. So we will go and we will refinance to actually save us money. It's not adding any money and it's not extending the loan. It's at the same loan length. It's just that we're at a 5% rate, or between 3 and 5% for one of them, and we're at a 4% rate, I think, for the other one. And both of these came in at around between 2 and 3%. So we do this, as I said, periodically. Finance will always look at what our bonds are doing, and if we can somehow get a better rate and pay less money, we do that. We have one additional use approval in the resolutions. That's master brand cabinets. They are going to be purchasing that for somewhat of a distribution center for Mint Julep and Chick Soul, I think it's called.
I would bet it's chic, but I doubt.
Chic.
I may be wrong, I don't know.
But,
We're gonna find out.
so I think this was something that, actually seemed like a good fit there. With master brands, we had a lot of complaints from the neighbors around there about noise and about smell because of the thing. I think this will eliminate both of those.
It's a good use of repurposing a building.
And we get the repurposed building.
It's awesome.
Master Brand is the company that left.
They suddenly,
Right.
Without much warning. We
And,
did a great job having these job fairs. Got a lot of those people replaced.
And Mint Julep is a retail establishment that has a pretty strong online presence.
Yes.
And so this would be for like their online distribution.
this would be the distribution. Yeah. Yeah, so it seems, I mean, I was happy to see that because it seems like a better use for that area
Less
than what was there.
expensive.
And that's pretty much it.
I want to ask a question. On the, recognition, that, when you have a group that needs to be recognized, in order for them to get on the agenda, is it some forms they fill out, or they just show up at council? How does that work?
What kind of group? I mean, it's like
Like
on a,
school, I mean, just like the same group that be at city council. I mean, how do they get on the agenda?
so if it's a.
Boy Scouts and all those different type of groups like that.
So if it's traditionally the way it's been set up, if it's a team that's won some type of championship or went to some type of, some sports team that have represented Auburn, and, you know, comes back either with a win or second or third place or something like that, then we reach out to them and then say if they would, that the council would like to recognize them, would like to come. Most of the time they do. We don't normally just, you know, pick a group to recognize. The council has never done that. It's usually been, usually sports teams. I don't know of anything that's not. Maybe every once in a while if there's some group, some school group that may have won the national or the state science fair or something like that, some student group, they've been recognized, something like that. But usually it's something significant that group has done in representing Auburn in the greater area, and so the council recognizes them for their good work.
So if a scout troop just shows up as part of their merit badge program, the mayor's
That's
office
usually the
said,
mayor.
Troop so-and-so.
Right.
That's kind of
As an
it occurs.
informal, yeah, we never know that they're
We
coming.
never know they're coming. Okay. Yeah.
And we don't need, they never tell us that they're coming. And sometimes it'll just be one scout. There'll just be one kid with his parents.
We could recognize them during council communication, right? If we were to have, us individual members, but if somebody from our ward or something,
Absolutely,
Is that something you're looking at?
absolutely, yeah, if you would, yeah, absolutely, that'd be very appropriate, no question about it. Connie, does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did. And I was pretty much alluding to what he was asking.
Yeah. I mean, I would encourage y'all to tell good stories when you have that time to say something. Recognize those who feel like being recognized.
The taxpayer But anytime we're waiving taxpayer penalties, I think the public wants to know why. So, you know, we pulled something off the consent agenda last week. I suggested that just so the public could learn about it. So I would think that I want to do that with 8B as well.
I don't disagree with you,
Yeah, we
Kelly.
can quickly do a vote on it, it's not a problem, won't slow us down, but just explain what it is we're waiving
Yeah,
and
and that's fine,
circumstances.
and that's one of the reasons why we have a memo in there to you as well, because we know that some of y'all have not dealt with that before.
Yeah.
So, that would be fine.
So we're gonna pull that one and, D off
D.
the consent agenda and just discuss, okay.
And look, all you folks have never done this before, I mean, as you start going through your packet, you got questions, call time out, ask us. I mean, send me emails over the weekend or call me, whatever, so.
Can someone explain to me, like, when we did the announcements, doing this, when we do the announcement, and like I had my community meeting, and Ward 5 and 6, they get ready to have their community meeting, they showed up on the, site, or the website, whatever, but mine did not. So, you know, what did I need to do to get mine out there? My community meeting.
As far as having it announced on the city's official, like, e-notifier.
I thought we
It
did.
was.
Yours was. That's with Al Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got the notification.
Yeah, we sent it out for e-notifier and everything,
Oh, okay.
and it was on social media.
Mhm.
It was. So, but the answer, is, if you let me know, then I'll let David know and he'll put it out.
Jim, can you talk about the lead time for open line? Cause I know it's pretty significant if you want something in open line, as far as like a ward meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have
so
like a standing ward meeting like Brett's having on the first of,
then we would get it in. Yeah.
it's, you know, ahead of time, but like for some of us who, you know, cause our schedules aren't consistent enough to have a schedule once a
So
month.
we're basically a month, right now, we just are doing open line for January.
Right,
So the open line will, and it comes out at the ending part of December, but it goes into January. So that's called the January open line. So you're a month behind, really. So we need to know a month ahead of time to get it in the next open line.
and probably even more than that, because you're
Probably
going
more
to
than
print a month out.
Right,
Okay, so safely a month and a half, basically?
that'd probably be good. Yeah, the more time you can give us, the best, but open line, we're pretty stuck because once the printer says we have to have it to them by that date,
Right.
we're stuck there.
Jim, last council meeting, we spoke about streaming, and we spoke that, I think you said that you might have.
There will be a memo in your packet about that, the research that we've done and what we found.
Have we received any results from DOT on that survey that they administered at the public interface meeting?
We have not heard anything yet.
We spoke, Ron and I spoke about trying to get a letter of support to the state.
We are working on, we've reached out to DOT to see if they would come to a special work session for the council and allow them to present basically what they, actually present what they were showing at the, at that meeting, to present to the council as a whole, so that then the council as a whole can decide how they want to move forward. But we wanted to try to get that done before Christmas. So far, we have not heard, but we've reached out to them, they have not come back with dates.
I guess the same thing, you know, the public kind of went to that thing thinking it was a choice between a light and a roundabout. And they had an opportunity to fill out that survey that said, I support the proposal or do not. And if they were thinking in terms of a light, then they probably checked do not. Well, if the survey, if the state evaluates those results and sees a large predominance of people say they do not, then they're just as soon take that money and go elsewhere. So it's really,
Because they're not gonna put a light there.
no, it does not qualify for a light.
Well, we, after you and I talked the other day, Kelly, so just to let the rest of the council know, so Kelly and I have been talking about this, we were at the meeting that night, and Aldott wanted the council to potentially put together a resolution supporting their efforts to build that roundabout out there. inclination that all of you need to understand the dynamics of the scenario before the council would author any type of resolution. So, I've asked Jim to try to set up a meeting for us to have, that they can make their presentation to us, and you guys can ask your questions, and then if we want to do a resolution, we can talk about that afterwards. If we don't, we don't, but, it's only fair that you guys understand the dynamics. It's a Ward 2 and Ward 3 geographic issue, but it's a City of Auburn issue, because that's a main artery in and out of our community. It's a big deal, so.
And there's other elements to consider outside of just placing a roundabout, because there's speed limits to consider throughout the whole stretch of 147 from 280 to East University that I think should be reevaluated as a whole. And those conversations haven't been directly had between this project, Aldoc, and the city. And so I think that's important for them to understand if they come and present, to be available to answer some of those questions.
Yeah. So we're trying.
Yeah, but last time we talked, we had talked about potentially looking at a presentation on the public safety building.
Yes.
Do we have a plan on when we want to do that for us, or?
We could do it on the 18th, I believe, on committee, we have nothing on the 18th.
Yeah, we can do
So we could do that on the 18th.
that. That's something public to see too.
Pardon?
With a public to go see.
Yeah.
Anything else? So Jim, I'm guessing because of the announcement, Beth and Kelly cannot start their deliberations till 1
Till 1
o'clock.
It
Okay.
has to be, yeah, we can start later, but we can't start.
Right, I got you. Okay, any questions for these guys? Thank y'all for being here, thank y'all for having this meeting with us, Jeff. We'll see some of you in 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were actually bought out.
Yes.
And thank you for the video.